Welcome back. Today we are going to go into the second part of exact values and the exact values on trig ratios. We're going to look into a new concept called rationalizing the denominator, and then go through an example on when to use exact values in trigonometry. So rationalizing the denominator is basically making sure that the denominator is not a surd. We know what a surd is. A surd has something to do with like square roots, cube roots, and whatnot. So when this concept rationalizing the denominator, if I look into the word of rationalizing, the word rational comes to mind, right? If in math, rational numbers, they are numbers that are like 2, -4, 0, 1, and so on, right? Now, these are rational numbers. Irrational numbers are numbers that has surds or square roots, cube roots, and things like that. When I rationalize the denominator, it means that I need to make sure that the denominator is rational, doesn't have a surd, doesn't have something to do with this, because this is an irrational number. Yeah, I want it to look nice. I want it to be rational. So to do that, I need to use this concept of using the magic wand to manipulate the expression, right? This is how it's going to work. I'm using an example. Rationalize the denominator 1 over square root 7. Okay, let's do it. Right, I'm going to use the concept of magic wand. This is how I'm going to do it. To rationalize the denominator, I need to multiply. Yeah, I need to multiply 1. Not the number 1, but the magic one, which is this. I have identified that my denominator is a surd of a square root 7. Let's use the magic 1 and multiply it, right? I can write down my magic 1 as square root 7 over square root 7. It's the exact same concept if we are going to use it in rational numbers of 2 over 2, right? 2 over 2 represents a 1 whole, right? Same thing with square root 7 over square root 7. It equals 2, 1. Okay, so once I've done that, using that magic one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 1 times square root 7 equals 2 square root 7, right? All over square root 7 times square root 7, which equals 7. How do I get that? Well, super easy. It's the exact same as, let's say I had a square root 45 squared, right? We know when we use algebra that the squared and the square root would cancel out and it'll equal to me 45, right? But let's say I want to break it down even more, right? Let's say I didn't know that. Let's say I didn't know that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break it down by going 45, square root 45 times square root 45. That's what a squared means, right? Because there's 2 square roots, just like what we've done here, right? Square root 7 times square root 7. This equals to 45. It's a rule, yeah? So that is how I rationalize the denominator. This concept will be very, very important because if we haven't noticed our exact values of trig ratios, it always has surds, right? And so if I have a question something like this, find the exact value of x in this triangle. So let's do it. Now, got my triangle. I'm going to use SOHCAHTOA because it's a right angle triangle. Right. It's a right angle triangle and I've got sides as well as angles. So I can't use Pythagoras. I need to use SOHCAHTOA. So let's first label it. The opposite of the angle is the opposite side. The opposite of the right angle is the hypotenuse. And my lucky last side is adjacent. All right, let's go. SOHCAHTOA, I'm going to write it down. All right, where are my given information? My given information is on the hypotenuse. and the adjacent side. Therefore, I need to use cos. Okay, so cos theta equals to A over H. Let's substitute it now, right? My degree is cos 30 equal to my adjacent, which is 5 over x. Okay, normally what we would do is we would multiply it, but because we know already what the exact value of cos 30 is, we're going to write it down, right? So the exact value of cos 30, which you can just look back on your notes, right, is the square root 3 over 2 equals to 5 over x. Okay, so easy peasy. Now let's just do our algebra. Okay, I'm going to multiply this side by x. Okay, this will cancel out. Let's just go the long way. X times square root 3 all over 2 equal to 5. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is get rid of this 2 by multiplying the 2 on both sides. Oh, and then this will cancel out. Then on my left hand side, I'll get x times square root 3 equals to 10. Then I want x by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by square root 3 on both sides. Right, so therefore x will equal to 10 over square root 3. Okay, now see how now my fraction, it's in a third, right? So I'm going to do it here in a third. I want to rationalize it. Let's rationalize it now. Okay, so x will equal to my third, and the denominator is square root 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 10 over square root 3. I'm going to use my magic wand, meaning I'm going to multiply it by square root 3 over square root 3, right? And just multiply it. 10 times square root 3 will just be 10 square root 3 all over square root 3 times square root 3. We know what it is. It'll be 3. So x will equal to 10 square root 3 over 3. Hopefully that makes sense. See you later. Bye.